What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Motorola Edge 2024. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the Motorola Edge 2024. Now this device was recently launched in June of this year, and I'm looking forward to showing you my first impressions of it here in this video. Now what's especially awesome about the Motorola Edge 2024 is that not only is this phone being offered factory unlocked, but it is also available at various carriers. For example, at Metro by T-Mobile, you can actually get this phone for free right now if you port in from another carrier, and with the new line, you can get it for just $99.99. Now, in addition to that, the phone is being sold directly from Motorola, factory unlocked. Originally, it had an MSRP of $549, but right now you can actually get it for $449. So the point is that this phone really is packing in a lot of value, and for most people, they're not going to be paying anywhere near the full price for it. So I know nowadays most people are looking to get the most amount of value possible, and if that's important to you, this phone might be one that you might really want to consider getting. Now before we get too far into things here with the Motorola Edge 2024, let's see what all comes included in the box. So here's the box, and you probably noticed already, it's a very slim box, and the reason for that is because there is no USB wall adapter included. But in the box we have some literature here, we're also getting a double-sided USB-C cable for charging and data transfer, and that's pretty much it. Now with this device, we're getting a very large 6.6-inch display. Along with that, we're getting Corning Gorilla Glass 3, so that is making it extra durable here. Now the display technology that we're getting is POLED. It is a 1080p display, so everything's very crisp and clear, and to make things even better, we're getting a 144Hz refresh rate. Yes, you heard that right, 144Hz, so that's really incredible, and I have not used a mid-range phone ever with that fast of a refresh rate. It really makes this phone fly, and it really is a nice surprise to see here. So I'm really happy about that. And pretty much every aspect of the display here with this phone is really good and very impressive. Now in addition to that, we're getting a PPI of 402, we're getting a 20:9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor, and we're getting a 90.2% screen to body ratio, so very small bezels all throughout. You probably noticed, especially on the sides of the phone, we actually have a curved glass display here. It's not an extreme curve, but it is a little bit of a curve. And then the top and bottom bezels are bigger than the side bezels, but they are very small. So overall, it gives this phone a very sleek look to it, and it just feels like a very modern, high-end device. Now up top here, we do have a hole punch for the front-facing camera, and that front camera is 32 megapixels. Now stay tuned for my full review of this device here on the channel, as I'll be showing you a variety of different photo video samples from all the various cameras here on the device. But I will say, from my experience with the cameras on various Motorola smartphones, I am pretty confident that this phone can take some really nice looking photos and videos. Now internally with this device, we're getting 256 gigabytes of storage, but unfortunately there is no microSD card expansion. So I know with other devices you can add in a microSD card and free up some of that internal space, but unfortunately you don't get that option here. So you will have to utilize cloud storage, but honestly, with 256 gigabytes already here on the device, I do feel like that is more than enough for most people out there. I know especially even for myself, as a smartphone power user, 256 is plenty, so I don't think that will be much of a problem for people, but keep in mind that if you are used to using a smartphone with microSD card expansion, then you're not getting that here. Now a nice surprise though with this device is that we are getting wireless charging, and in addition to that, it is compatible with up to 15-watt wireless charging. Now you will have to use a wireless charger that actually does support that, but I'm glad that we're getting that feature here. Now with the Motorola Edge 2024, we are getting Face Unlock, but in addition to that, this phone does have an in-display fingerprint sensor. So it's very fast and responsive. We'll try that one more time. So that works really well, so I'm definitely a big fan of that implementation. Now on the back of the device, we're getting a dual camera setup, we're getting a 50 megapixel main camera, and a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. Now here's how things look on the camera app on the device. This is the main rear camera right now. Then from there, you can switch over to 0.5 to access that ultra wide, and then with the ultra wide camera, you can fit a lot more content into a single frame here, which is great. There's even a pro mode here. You can make adjustments to white balance and ISO. Then under the More tab here, you have a lot of different options. One of my favorites is Ultra Res, so by default, this phone doesn't actually capture images at the full 50 megapixels, but with Ultra Res, you can actually do that here. So we'll take a photo right now, and then we'll pull this up, and you can see things are very crisp and clear. It just finished processing. This is a very sharp image. Now the reality is, for most people, they're not going to need to take 50 megapixel photos at all times, which is why this feature is located in the More tab here. But I'm still glad it's here, and again, there's a lot of other awesome cool features here too, and I'll be getting more into that in other videos coming up. Now with this device, we can also go over to the front-facing camera. There's me right there. We can also crop out a little bit for a group selfie. There's even an option for portrait selfies, which is great. And then you can also capture portrait mode photos with the rear camera with options for 24 millimeters, 35, or 50 millimeters. So that's also very cool. I've never really seen that type of configuration where you can pick like that, but I think that's really interesting and definitely makes a lot more sense, especially if you are familiar with photography. Now, video recording does max out at 4K with both the front camera and the rear camera as well. And then with this device, we're getting 8 gigabytes of RAM and the Qualcomm Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 processor. Now, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with this phone, hence why this is my first impressions video, but so far things seem really good with this processor. Of course, pairing it up with 8 gigs of RAM is also a great choice by Motorola, but it seems like the Motorola Edge 2024 is a very fast, well-performing device. Even though it doesn't have necessarily a flagship processor in it, it still is very quick. Now, I did run a benchmark test using Geekbench 6, and here are the scores that I got from that test. So I got a single core score of 958 and a multi-core score of 2950. So what I recommend doing is run this test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to see how the Motorola Edge 2024 compares. Because you certainly would not want to upgrade to this phone if it's really not much faster than the phone that you currently have. But I have a feeling that probably for most people it will actually be an upgrade. Now also with this device, we're getting a very large 5,000 milliamp hour internal battery, and then along with that, we are getting up to 68 watt fast charging. So that's very fast charging. A lot of brands consider 25 watts fast charging, or even 20 watts fast charging. This is 68 watts. This is true fast charging, so that's really excellent to see, especially for a mid-range phone like this one. Now with this device, there is NFC, so you can use it for tap and pay. There's also stereo speakers here in the phone. We are getting vegan leather on the back of the device, so it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks kind of like leather. It feels kind of like leather, but it is not. We're also getting an aluminum frame here on the device, which is a nice premium touch. And then there is Snapdragon sound on board here on the phone. Now on the left side of the phone, we have this button, which is called the Quick button. So you can see here, you can quickly launch apps and activities, and the Moto app will open by default. So that's really cool. I've definitely got to mess with that a little bit more and try it out. You can also customize single and double presses, so that's also very interesting as well. So I'll definitely be testing this out a bit more and then showing you more about that in future videos. Now on the right side of the phone, we have volume up, volume down, and the power button. Then up top here, we have the noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom of the device, we have the slot for the SIM card, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, microphone, and the speaker. And then on the back of the phone, we have that dual camera setup, we have the flash, Motorola logo, and that's pretty much it. So in conclusion, I'm very excited about the new Motorola Edge 2024. I think this phone is going to be a great value for many people out there, and it's just a genuinely practical smartphone that's not too expensive. But definitely let me know what you think about this device in the comment section below. This is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.